there are two different ways to sell your live broilers to make profit. Either you sell them by weight or you sell them in group. So in this video I'm going to be sharing with you how to calculate how much you should sell your broilers to make profit, and the video is starting right now. Before I proceed, I want to use the next 30 seconds to advertise one of the skills we do over here in the farm to keep ourselves busy and also make extra money in the process. It is called Canvas Print Split Panels 3-in-1 containing one image, and we also have Canvas Print Split Panels 5-in-1 containing 3 images. The sizes can be customized based on your requirements, although we have a default size if you don't want it customized. And also you have a choice to select whether you want it to come with a wall clock or not. I'll be sharing the link in the description of this video for you to check it out and also know whether this is what you need. Order and support us in the farm over here. Now if you're excited about what you're going to learn from this video, I want you to hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and let's roll. Before you consider how much you sell a broiler, first thing you need to consider are the cost of production. So I'm going to be listing the things that are going to be you're going to be spending money on in raising these broilers. So, and we are going to total what it will cost you to raise a particular broiler before you can now fix price on how much to sell the broiler. So having said that, you are going to be spending money on some materials, so we'll call this cost. We'll call this amount. I just want to tabulate it. Please, I'm not with a ruler, so you have to manage what I have to offer. Number one, you need to consider the cost of feed. Cost of feed. Number two, I don't need to be writing cost again. You need to consider cost of water. Number three, you need to consider cost of labor. Number four, you need to consider cost of day-old chicks. Number five, you need to consider cost of the poultry house. I call it pen house. Number six, you need to consider, you will make some calls and data as a farmer. It's inevitable. Number seven, you need to consider cost of mortality. Birds may die, birds may not die, but it's okay. Number eight, you need to consider brooding, cost of brooding, stroke brooding materials. Number nine, you need to consider medication, stroke vaccination. And then number 10, you need to consider miscellaneous. That's some unforeseen circumstances. So these are the costs to consider. The cost of production. Okay, finally we say total. So over here I'll be putting the amounts, and in order to generate this amount we need to get down to business. If you've been following this channel, there is a video I did some time ago on how much it will cost you to feed broilers. From that we achieved, that's cost of feed. Now we're in cost of feed. I normally teach people to raise their broilers for 6 weeks, and following my guideline you can be able to achieve about 3.1 kg doing so. With that in mind, for you to do this, there are requirements you need to meet up with the feeding of the birds. For instance, let me go straight to the calculator. The first week, each of your broiler is meant to be consuming about 0.167 kg of feed for the first week. The second week, each of them is meant to be consuming about 0.375 kg. The third week is meant to be consuming about 0.65 kg. The fourth week is meant to be consuming about 0.945 kg. The fifth week meant to be consuming about 1.215 kg, and then finally the sixth week the bird is meant to be consuming about 1.1 434 kg, giving you a total of, for your bird to achieve this 3.1 kg, that your bird broiler need to consume about 4.786 kg of feed in 6 weeks time. So let's just approximate this and call it 4.8 kg. So in order to proceed, we need to determine the average cost of feed currently. We normally use New Hope feed here, and we use it for 2 weeks for raising broilers, and then the remaining 4 weeks we use Top Feed Proline Super Starter. Currently, New Hope goes for 11,400 naira per bag, plus Top Feed goes for 8,700 naira per bag. So totaling the two of them, we get 11,400 plus 8,700. That's 20,100 naira. So the average cost of feed, that will be divided by 2, since we are using 2 figures here, and it will be giving us divided by 2, it will be giving us 10,050 naira. So the average cost of feed for us using these two kind of feed, New Hope and Top Feed, the average cost is 10,050 naira. So with this in mind, you know, commercial feed over here, I don't know where you are watching this from, but for us over here in Nigeria, our commercial feed normally comes as 25 kg, although you can request for customized where you can be getting 50 kg and 100 kg bag, but on the standard basis, normally you'll be getting it as 25 kg. So for that, we need to determine how much is the value to 1 kg for us to be able to check what it will cost for this 4.8 kg. So for 1 kg, how much 1 kg goes for is 1 kg, that is this average cost of feed divided by 25 kg, and it will give us average cost of feed is 10,050 naira divided by 25 kg. It will give us 402 naira. That means 1 kg in this our average cost of feed is equivalent to 402 naira. So therefore, estimating how much it will cost us to give our best this as feed is 4.8 kg times 402 naira, and it will be giving us 4.8, that's 1,929.6 naira. But this 0.6, we can just say let's estimate it, and let me just write the original 1,929.6. so we can just estimate it to 1,930 naira. That's what it will be costing us to feed a particular broiler to get to this kg. So I'll be putting the value here, 1,930 naira. Next, let's consider the cost of water. Water consumption in birds is not constant. It is determined by the climatic condition. So in a hot weather, they consume more water. In a moderate weather, they consume less. But on a worst case scenario, each bird can be consuming, that's assuming you are buying your water. The only person who can estimate, who value this side of costing water, is someone who is buying water. But people that has borehole in their farm may not really appreciate this. But you know, the borehole in your farm is a fixed asset, and it was sunk for a reason. So each bird that partakes in drinking water in your farm has to pay its own iron price. So on a worst case scenario, let's give each bird an estimation of 30 naira. So cost of water, each bird is paying 30 naira. Let's bring the 30 naira here. Next, we talk about cost of labor. Labor costs. it's a normal thing for farms to be paying their farm attendants 30,000 naira per day, per month. So saying you are paying your farm attendant 30,000 naira per month is equivalent to saying you are paying them 1,000 naira per day. So since these birds are going to be raised for 42 days, the cost of labor is equal to 42,000 naira. Note that a farm attendant can run comfortably a particular pen house. So we are estimating this to be all the birds are accommodated in a particular pen house and one farm attendant is attending to them. So paying the farm attendant 1,000 naira per day, normally it's 30,000 naira per day until things get better and people get promoted, but I'm taking the average 1,000 naira per day, and for 42 days that will be 42,000 naira. Now, to know how much each bird is going to pay for this, each of the bird, we have to divide this 42,000 naira and share the number to each of the birds, because everybody has to pay their dues. That's the iron price. For us, we are expecting about 650 broilers on the 17th of February 2023. So on this, we can divide it by that 650 and then get 42,000 divided by 650. That means each of the bird will be paying 64 naira, 64.6. So 64.6 naira, or we can still estimate it to 65 naira. That means each of the birds, that's 650 broilers, each of them will be paying 65 naira. And we'll bring our 65 over here. The next is cost of day-old chicks. We call it DOC, day-old chicks. We are expecting broilers, and each of them we are booked from a supplier from Agritech. We paid 570 naira per bed. So for day-old chicks, I'm saying 570 here. The next is cost for housing the birds. Note that poultry house within the farm is a fixed asset, but not minding, each of the birds being raised in that pen house have to pay the iron price. They have to pay for rent. The people that might appreciate this part are those renting the poultry house, because there is provision for you to rent poultry house and pay for it yearly. But on a worst case scenario, depending on the number of birds, you'll be raising different batches of birds here before the year runs out. But so the worst case scenario is each of the birds paying 50 naira per stay. So over here we'll put the 50 naira. We have calls and data. Farmers make call, farmers browse to update their information. They make calls to contact customers and also to make inquiries from poultry veterinarians and animal scientists. So it depends. Some farmers use more of calls and data compared to others, but being moderate here, let's put 20 naira. This 20 naira is per bed. It's not just 20 naira. Since it's 650, if we are to do the cumulative, it will be 650 times 20. That's what all this is, but we are just trying to get the cost of each bed, one bed. The next here is mortality. Mortality is a very good cost to not skip. And it is normal for you to raise birds and lose about 5% of the flock. It's normal. When you start losing more than that, then something might be wrong. So for the mortality cost, we are going to be assuming you lose about 10% of the birds, about 5% of the birds. So 5% of 650 is that's 5 over 100. It will be 0.05. Then times 650. We are trying to get the 5% of 650. That is is 650 times 0.05, that is 32.5. 32.5. We can approximate this to say 33 birds. Let's assume that out of 650, 33 birds die. So how much did you lose as a farmer? That would be 33 times 570, the cost of day-old chicks. I think I'm estimating this based on the day-old chicks, but you know what I mean. So let's still continue. So it will be 33 times 570, that's 18,810, equal to 18,810 naira. Remember, at 650 and you lose 33, what you have left is 617. You have 617 birds left. So this amount that you lost, the 617 birds have to pay for it. You have to share the cost for all of them. So you divide it by 617 to get divided by 617. That will be 30.4. That means each of the birds that are alive have to pay 30 naira. 30.4 naira. We can just still estimate this to be 30 naira. So we come over here, we put mortality. For each bird that die, the ones that are alive will have to add 30 naira, because it's part of the cost of production. Farmer is not meant to lose out for any reason. The next cost we have to consider here is a brooding material, cost of brooding. Brooding, it depends. This brooding material has to do with the wool shaving, the pepper on the floor, and etc. But on your worst, okay, on a moderate scenario, each bird has to pay 50 naira for brooding material. So for each bird, we say 50. And then next is medication. This medication is determined. Another factor that influences this medication is amount of water they are consuming. That amount of water, you know, most of these broilers, for 6 weeks, their medication is in the water. And the amount of water they are consuming depends on the weather. But on a worst case scenario, medication. ₦100 per bed. So we'll come over here and put the 100 naira. Maybe in the future I will do a video to give you the rundown of these individual estimates I've been making here. And then finally we have the unforeseen. This is miscellaneous. This is, you know, on a normal day your birds are meant to be raised without being sick. Along the way, if they get sick, you spend money treating them. This money is still part of the unforeseen circumstances. Medications is still part of it. This medication is a normal routine medication, but this unforeseen might be sickness that you spend money treating them. So it's still unforeseen. You say for unforeseen circumstances, it might cost you, say on the estimate, 50 naira per bed. So coming over here for unforeseen, we put down the 50. So for the total, now what we are trying to total now is the cost of production in raising just one broiler. Now it will now at the end of the day depend on how many, because over here we have cost of feeding one broiler for 6 weeks to achieve 3.1 kg is 1,930 naira. Cost of water for one bed 30 naira. Cost of labor, each bed is paying 65 naira each. Day-old chicks cost 570. Cost of housing 50 naira. Cost of cost 20. Mortality, the ones that died, the ones alive have to share the money they lost. So we'll add it into the cost of production, which is here 30 naira. Then brooding materials, each bed is paying 50 naira for being brooded. Then medications 100 naira on the estimate, and then unforeseen circumstances this. So totaling everything we'll have here is 1930 plus 30 plus 65 plus 570 plus 50 plus 20 plus 30 plus 50 plus 100 plus 50. That is, we have here 2,895 naira. So cost of production, following things we have on ground. The money increased because of this cost of feed and also cost of day-old chicks. That's why we have exorbitant amount here. So as a farmer, let's assume this is what you spent, cost of production 2,895 naira. Now the next question you have to ask yourself is, before you proceed, is you are selling this live bird. Who are you selling it to? How is your selling parameter? There are two different ways to sell live broiler. Number one is let me say live. The two different ways to sell them is to selling by weight. You can sell by weight. There is a different way to get the cost, how much to sell. And then secondly, when you are selling by group. Let me come for weight first. There is something we call broiler to feed price ratio. I think I should write it in full. Broiler to feed price ratio, or BFPR. It's a constant. It's normally 2.6. It can be more than this, but for you to make profit, it shouldn't go lower than 2.6. Now this has its own formula. The economists will understand this better. For you to determine cost price, the formula is selling price per bed divided by cost of feed per bed. That's equal to. So over here now, we already know that this broiler to feed price ratio should not be lower than 2.6. So we are going to be using the 2.6. We already know the figure of BFPR. We already know the cost of feed per bed. If you can remember, cost of feed per bed. We already know that. Now what we are looking for is the selling price. So for that reason, we cross multiply and then say 2.6 times 1,930. 1,930. Now we are looking for cost. We are looking for selling. We are looking for selling. Selling price. So this will give us times 2.6. That is 5,018 naira. 5,018 naira. Now if you are selling live weight to individuals, this way you use something like this, live weights, live, but you are using weight to sell the live broiler. That's where you consider using this broiler to feed price ratio. Most times we use this when you are selling to individuals, like someone coming to buy 2, buy 3, buy 4, buy 5. You use weight to weigh for the person and then use this formula, broiler to feed price ratio, which is normally 2.0, to cross multiply the cost of feed for you to get the selling price. So it's okay for you to sell your broiler at this cost following the cost of feed. But there is another way to sell too. It depends on who you are selling to. If you are selling in group, there are people who come to farms to buy your chicken in group. Over here in Nigeria, we'll have more of our Hausa people doing that kind of business. If you are selling to them in group, that's where you have to readjust. And then for group, you first of all consider your cost of production, which after checking all these things, cost of production, we are getting 2,895. Your cost of production is 2,895. So here is where you check how much you want to make per bed. You know, this cost of production is cost it takes you to raise one particular chicken, because the chicken, this is the feeding, this is the water, this is the labor, even to the extent of the ones that died, the chicken should pay to cover up the money, and the cost of labor, the chicken has to pay its own iron price. So if you're selling in group, here is where you just ask yourself, how much profit do you want to make per bed? Is it 1,000 naira? If it's 1,000 naira, you just, since you're selling it in group, you can just add 1,000 naira. If it's 1,500, you add it, because you're selling this in group. So let's assume that you're adding just 1,000 naira to make 1,000 naira profit per bed. That means the selling price for group, if you're selling it to someone who wants to buy a larger number of beds, you can be selling it at 3,895 naira. If this video was helpful, please, I want you to like the video. If there is someone you need to see this, feel free to share the video with the person. And if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe. See you in my next video.